The cowboy's act of kindness to a forgotten Apache girl came back to change his life 15 years later. In the blistering heat of the Arizona desert, where the sun scorched the earth like a vengeful god, rode a lone cowboy named Elias Thorne. He was a man hardened by years on the frontier, his face etched with lines from squinting into endless horizons. Elias had left his ranch that morning, tracking a stray steer that had wandered off during the night. His horse, a sturdy bay named Dusty, plodded steadily through the sagebrush, kicking up dust that clung to his weathered boots. The air was thick with the scent of creosote and dry earth, a reminder of the unforgiving Wild West. As Elias crested a low ridge, he spotted something unusual. A small figure huddled against a jagged rock outcrop, barely moving. His heart quickened. It wasn't an animal but a child, tiny and alone in this vast wilderness. Drawing closer, he saw the ragged deerskin clothes, and the dark hair matted with dirt. An Apache girl, no more than 8 years old, her eyes wide with fear and exhaustion. She was forgotten. Abandoned by her tribe perhaps during a raid or a harsh migration. Elias dismounted slowly, his hand raised in peace, whispering soft words to calm her trembling form. The girl flinched as Elias approached, her small hands clutching a broken stick like a weapon. She was emaciated, ribs visible under her sun-browned skin, lips cracked from thirst. Elias's mind raced back to his own childhood, orphaned young and scraping by in dusty towns. He couldn't just ride on, that wasn't the code he lived by. Kneeling at a safe distance, he pulled his canteen from his saddlebag and offered it gently. "Easy now, little one," he murmured, his voice rough but kind. She eyed the water distrustfully at first, then snatched it, gulping desperately until it dribbled down her chin. Elias watched, a pang in his chest, knowing one canteen wouldn't save her. He rummaged in his pack for jerky and a bit of hardtack, breaking it into small pieces. As she ate, her weariness softened slightly, though her dark eyes still darted like a cornered coyote. Elias pondered her story. Apache tribes were fierce, guardians of these lands, but survival was brutal. Raids by settlers or rival bands left no room for the weak. This girl, with her intricate bead necklace half buried in dirt, was a survivor against odds. He decided then he'd take her back to his ranch, nurse her to health, and figure out the rest. Mounting up with the girl cradled in front of him, Elias urged Dusty onward, the child's weight light as a feather. She clung to the saddle horn, silent, her body tense against the horse's rhythm. The ride back took hours under the relentless sun, Elias shielding her with his hat. When clouds failed to appear, he spoke softly of his ranch, the creek that ran clear, the chickens that pecked freely, the quiet nights under stars. It was his way to ease her fear, though she understood little English. By dusk they reached the modest cabin, smoke curling from the chimney where Elias's old dog Rusty barked a lazy welcome. Inside the air smelled of pine and stewing beans. Elias settled her by the fire, wrapping her in a wool blanket. He boiled water for a poultice on her scraped knees and feverish brow. That night, as she slept fitfully on his cot, Elias sat vigil, whittling a small wooden horse to gift her come morning. Dreams haunted her, flashes of warriors on horseback, cries in the wind, the sting of abandonment. Elias wondered if her tribe would ever come searching, but the desert kept its secrets. For now she was safe, a forgotten spark he'd kindled back to life. Days blurred into weeks, as Elias tended to the girl he named Lila, after a wild flower that bloomed defiantly in arid soil. She spoke no words at first, only soft Apache chants under her breath, while watching him mend fences or brand cattle. Elias taught her simple tasks, feeding the chickens, gathering eggs, his patience infinite. Lila's strength returned, color bloomed in her cheeks, and her laughter, rare at first, tinkled like wind chimes. Yet shadows lingered in her eyes, memories of loss. One evening as they sat on the porch watching the sunset paint the sky in fiery hues, Lila traced patterns in the dust symbols of her people, mountains and eagles. Elias listened when she finally whispered fragments of her tale. Her name was Nijoni, daughter of a warrior chief, left behind during a U.S. cavalry ambush that scattered her band. Raiders had taken her family's horses, and in the chaos, she hid, forgotten amid the smoke and scream. Elias's jaw tightened at the injustice, He'd seen too many clashes between settlers and tribes. He vowed silently to protect her, teaching her to ride bareback like her kin, sharing stories of his own Apache encounters. Fair trades, not betrayals. Their bond grew, father and daughter in spirit. Months passed, and Lila, no Nijoni, thrived on the ranch, her quick hands helping with chores, her sharp eyes spotting coyotes before they raided the coop. Elias marveled at her resilience, how she wove baskets from yucca with intricate patterns that told stories of canyons and rivers. Villagers from nearby Tucson whispered about the cowboy raising an Indian orphan, some with suspicion, others with quiet respect. Elias ignored the gossip, focusing on the joy she brought, her giggles echoing as she chased Rusty through the field. But whispers of Apache unrest reached even their isolated haven. Geronimo's band was stirring, raids escalating against miners encroaching on sacred lands. Elias worried, if Nijoni's tribe learned of her survival, would they reclaim her? Or worse, see him as a thief? One stormy night, thunder rumbling like war drums, Nijoni confided a dream, warriors riding to her aid, feathers in the wind. Elias held her close, promising safety. Little did he know, fate wove threads across years, binding kindness to reckon. As winter's chill gripped the land, Elias gifted her a small pony, its coat dappled like desert shadows. She named it Wind Dancer, and together they galloped free, if only for stolen moments. Spring brought renewal, wildflowers carpeting the valleys as Nijoni turned. Elias bartered in town for cloth and beads, watching her craft a dress that blended Apache weaves with frontier simplicity. She taught him words in her tongue, Shiwaswerhas, meaning it goes in the sky, and he shared hymns from his mother's faded Bible. Their evenings filled with tales, Elias of gold rushes and lost trails, Nijoni of ancestral spirits guarding the four directions. Yet tension simmered. A cavalry patrol passed nearby, speaking of Apache scouts evading capture. Elias reinforced the ranch gates, his rifle oiled and ready, though his heart recoiled at violence. Nijoni, sensing the shift, practiced throwing stones with deadly accuracy, her aim honed by necessity. One day, a wandering trader brought news. A young Apache girl matching her description had been mourned as lost in a raid near the Gila River. Nijoni's eyes welled. She was truly forgotten, a ghost to her people. Elias comforted her, vowing she'd never be alone. But deep down he feared the day her past would call, tearing her from the home they'd built amid prickly pear and saguaro sentinels. Their life, a fragile piece in turbulent times. Summer's blaze tested them, droughts parching the creek until Elias dug deeper wells under the merciless sun. Nijoni helped, her small frame tireless, singing rain songs passed from her grandmother. Elias admired her spirit, unbowed by hardship. They harvested meager corn and beans, preserving what they could in jars that gleamed like treasure. One afternoon, while mending a torn bridle, Elias found Nijoni sketching maps in the dirt paths through canyons only her people knew. "For when I go home," she said softly, though her voice cracked. Elias's throat tightened. He couldn't bear the thought, yet understood her pull to root. He encouraged her, teaching reading from an old primer, dreaming she'd bridge worlds. Rumors swirled of peace talks in Washington, but frontier reality was raids and reprisals. A neighbor's barn burned one night, blamed on Apache shadow. Elias stood guard, Nijoni at his side with a knife, their silhouettes fierce against the moon. As stars wheeled overhead, Elias reflected on his act of mercy. Rescuing her had healed his own loneliness. But at what cost? The desert winds whispered warnings, carrying echoes of hooves long past. Autumn leaves turned gold on cottonwoods as Nijoni turned 10, her growth spurt making Elias's hand-me-down shirts comical. They celebrated with a feast, venison roasted over mesquite, cornbread steaming hot. Nijoni danced around the fire, steps fluid as water, invoking blessings for the harvest. Elias clapped along, his boots stomping rhythm, feeling alive in ways years alone hadn't allowed. But joy shadowed with news. Geronimo's warriors ambushed a stagecoach, tensions boiling over stolen land. Elias debated sending Nijoni to a mission school for safety, but she refused, eyes flashing defiance. "I am Apache," she declared, and Elias relented, proud yet fearful. Winter approached with early frosts, and they stocked wood, Mijoni's arrows now felling rabbits with precision. One eve, she shared a legend of white-painted woman, who birthed heroes from the earth. Elias listened, seeing his own mother in the tale, strong, enduring. As snow dusted the hills, he carved her a bow from ash wood, stringing it with their bond forged in isolation, deepened, a quiet rebellion against the world's chaos. Yet fate, like a distant thunder, gathered force. Years slipped by like sand through fingers, Mijoni blossoming into a young woman of 15 under Elias's watchful eye. The ranch prospered modestly, neighbors accepting her as kin, her skills invaluable in branding and riding. She rode like wind, hair streaming, a vision of grace amid dusty trails. Elias aged too, silver threading his beard, but his step remained sure. They faced trials, a flash flood washing out the bridge, wolves testing the herd, but together, unbreakable. Mijoni wove rugs sold in Tucson, her patterns earning praise, funding books that expanded her world. She read voraciously, from dime novels to tribal lore. Elias bartered. Whispers of her past faded, but not her dreams. Visions of eagles and war cries stirred her sleep. Elias noticed her restlessness, the way she'd gaze east toward Apache strongholds. One day you'll choose your path, he said, heart heavy. The frontier evolved, railroads snaking in, bringing settlers and strife. A treaty promised peace, but broken words fueled resentment. Mijoni trained in secret, bow and knife her companions, preparing for an unknown call. Elias prayed silently for calm, unaware the desert remembered debts, kindness repaid in thunderous measure. One crisp morning in 1875, as Elias mended a fence near the arroyo, hooves thundered like judgment. He straightened, squinting into the dust cloud riders, dozens strong, feathers and war paint, vivid against the horizon. Apache warriors, their ponies lathered, encircled the ranch in a silent, disciplined ring. Elias's hand drifted to his holster, pulse racing, but no arrows flew. At their lead rode a striking woman, tall and fierce, her face painted with ochre, eyes locking on his with recognition. It was Mijoni, no longer the waif he'd saved, but a leader clad in buckskin and beads, a scar from some forgotten skirmish on her cheek. She dismounted gracefully, the warriors following suit, their presence an army of shadows, 200 strong, bows unstrung but ready. Elias's mind reeled, 15 years since that fateful ridge, and here she was, returned not in flight, but Father, she called, voice steady as canyon rock, using the English word he'd taught. The warriors knelt in unison, heads bowed, not in threat, but honor. Elias stood frozen, the air thick with unspoken history. This was no raid, it was reckoning, a daughter's gift wrapped in steel. Mijoni approached, her moccasins silent on the parched ground, the warriors a living wall behind her. Elias searched her face, seeing the child in the woman's fierce gaze. You've come home, he whispered, voice cracking. She smiled faintly, clasping his weathered. Home is where kindness lives. My people, they mourned me as lost, but spirits guided me back to you first. Her tale unfolded in hushed tones. Rescued, she'd hidden her survival, growing strong in secrecy, rising through trials to lead her band. Whispers of the cowboy's mercy had spread like wildfire through tribal fires. A white man who spared and sheltered, defying the hatred of wars. Now with Geronimo's shadow lengthening, threats from bluecoats and bounty hunters loomed. Mijoni's army wasn't for vengeance, but protection. We stand with you, as you stood with me, she declared. Elias's eyes misted. His simple act had woven him into legend. The warriors shared tobacco, pipes passing in ritual peace, their chants rising like smoke. Rusty barked curiously, tails wagging as ponies grazed on the ranch, once solitary, pulsed with life, a fragile alliance born of forgotten grace. As sun climbed high, Mijoni's warriors set camp, tippas blooming like flowers in the valley, their efficiency a marvel. Elias walked among them, offering water and shade, met with nods of respect. Stories flowed, Mijoni's trials evading cavalry, leading raids for justice, her visions foretelling this reunion. She'd become, she who remembers, a seer warrior, her kindness repaid in loyalty. Elias learned of her band's plight, lands stripped by miners, children starving in reservations' grip. His ranch, a beacon, now fortified by Apache steel. That night, fires dotted the hills, drums beating rhythms of unity. Mijoni sat with Elias, her hand on him. 15 years, and you've been my North Star. He chuckled, carving meat from a shared deer. Just a fool cowboy, darlin'. But pride swelled, his life once adrift, anchored in her strength. Scouts reported ranger patrols nearby, but the army stood ready, shadows in the moon. Whispers of greater battles echoed, but here peace reigned. The desert witness to abandonment, now cradled redemption's flame. Dawn broke with purpose, warriors rising like mist, sharpening blades and checking bows. Mijoni outlined plans, scouts to watch trails, alliances with other bands. Elias contributed maps from his rider days, tracing weak points in settler advances. Lunch was pemmican and fry bread, laughter mingling with strategy. A young warrior, scarred and solemn, gifted Elias a coup feather, symbol of brotherhood. For the heart that saved our sister, he said. Elias pinned it to his hat, humbled. Mijoni trained her men in the meadow, her commands crisp, form flawless, arrow after arrow finding mark. Elias watched, seeing the girl who'd chased chickens, now command thunder. Afternoon brought a storm, rain lashing tents, but spirits soared. Around the fire, tales of heroism, Mijoni's escape from a trap, outwitting soldiers with cunning. Elias shared his own, surviving a blizzard alone, faith his only companion. Bonds forged, the camp a family. As stars emerged, Mijoni whispered, "This is just beginning. The white eyes come, but we meet them as one." Elias nodded, rifle close, ready for the army he'd unwittingly summoned. Days turned to vigilant rhythm, patrols circling the ranch like hawks. Elias adapted, learning Apache signals, hand signs for danger, bird calls for all clear. Mijoni's presence transformed the land, gardens planted with corn and squash, promising bounty. Villagers trickled in, wary at first, then trading goods, cloth for pelts, tails for tobacco. Whispers spread of the cowboy's Apache guard, a myth grown. One eve, a messenger arrived on foam-flecked horse. Geronimo summoned Mijoni for counsel, word of her white ally intriguing the great chief. She prepared, feathers in hair, face stoic. "I'll return with more," she promised Elias, mounting wind dancers descend. He clasped her arm, words failing. As she rode into twilight, warriors saluting, Elias felt the weight. His kindness birthed a storm. Alone but not, he reinforced walls, heart full. The desert bloomed under care, mirroring hope. Nights he dreamed of the ridge where it began, the forgotten girl now a force. 15 years echo resounded in hoofbeats fading east. Weeks without Mijoni stretched long, Elias pacing porches, eyes on horizon. Scouts brought news, she parleyed with Geronimo, her tale swaying skeptics, forging pacts against common foes. The ranch held, warriors loyal sharing hunts and songs. Elias learned more, Apache ways of tracking stars for navigation, herbs for healing wounds. A raid scare passed harmlessly, his rifle unused, diplomacy prevailing. Letters from Tucson warned of troop buildups, but Elias trusted Mijoni's web of eyes. One dawn, dust rose anew, riders returning. Mijoni at 4, Geronimo's band merged, numbers swelling to 300. She dismounted, embracing Elias like kin. "The bear chief sends respect," she said, handing a sacred pipe. Feasts followed, drums thundering victory songs. Elias, central to lore, spoke of unity, his voice carrying weight. The army grew, not just warriors but families, children playing with Rusty. Tensions mounted, settlers encroaching, but the ranch stood as bastion. Mijoni's eyes gleamed with purpose, the forgotten girl now redeemer prepared for war's shadow. Elias beside her found destiny in dust. Autumn winds carried omens, leaves swirling as council fires burned late. Mijoni mapped assaults, hit supply lines, spare civilians, honor the cowboy's code. Elias advised caution, his settler's heart wary of blood. Warriors nodded, respecting his mercy's route. Training intensified, mock battles in canyons, endurance runs under moon. Mijoni shone, her visions guiding strikes, hands glowing in trance. Elias witnessed one, her eyes distant, murmuring of blue-coat ambushes foiled. Skeptics converted, calling her prophetess. Harvest yielded plenty, shared feasts binding. A young warrior courted Nijoni, his bravery matching hers, but she demurred, duty first. Elias teased gently, fatherly now. News from east, treaties crumbling, troops marching. The army mobilized subtly, ponies hidden in washes. Elias oiled his gun, joining patrols, his aim steady. Nights, stories wove tighter, his rescue tale chanted, inspiring youth. The ranch heart of resistance, pulsed with life. As frost nipped, Nijoni stood atop ridge, warriors arrayed. For the forgotten we rise, she proclaimed. Elias at her side, felt the wheel turn full circle. Winter gripped fierce, snow blanketing sentinels, but fires warmed spirits. Supplies dwindled, rationed wisely, hunts braving blizzards. Elias shared ranch lore, trapping beaver, smoking meat. Nijoni's band taught snowshoe crafts. Silence, a fever swept camp. Elias's poultices, blended with Apache roots, saved many. Gratitude deepened, his status elder sage. Letters smuggled warned of spring offensives. Rangers hunting Geronimo. Nijoni planned diversions, feints to draw forces. Elias scouted, his knowledge of trails invaluable. One night, under Aurora's glow, she confided doubts. War devours kindness. He held her, recalling the canteen's gift. Yours endures. Fa brought green shoots, mirroring resolve. Scouts clashed minorly, returning bloodied but victorious. The army swelled to 400. Allies from Navajo kin. Feasts celebrated, dances whirling like spirits. Elias carved totems, symbols of pact. As rivers swelled, Nijoni rallied. The cowboy's heart beats in us. Hoofbeats echoed readiness. The forgotten debt, now legions fire. Spring unleashed fury, wildflowers masking preparation. Nijoni's visions sharpened, troop movements pinpointed, ambushes set. Elias led a supply run, dodging patrols, wagons laden with powder. Warriors struck first, a wagon train raided, arms seized without loss. Cheers echoed camp, morale soaring. Elias back safe, shared whiskey tales, easing tensions. Nijoni praised his calm, her trust absolute. Summer loomed hot, but plans cooled hotter. Major push on forts. Families relocated deeper. Ranch as forward base. Children learned crafts. Bows tiny but true. Elias taught English, bridging tongues. A traitor rumor quelled by Nijoni's insight. Unity preserved. Monsoons lashed, turning trails mud, but spirits unbowed. One eve, stars clear, she gifted him a medicine pouch. Feathers, stones for protection. My first gift, she said. Elias teared, pinning it inside his vest. Battles brewed, scouts bleeding info. The army honed blade, a weighted stroke. 15 years seed, harvesting storm. Elias dreamed of peace beyond, but steel called now. Monsoon rage passed, leaving swollen creeks and resolute hearts. Nijoni's council convened, elders and warriors debating strikes. Elias' voice heard, urged minimal blood target machines, not men. Nodded wisdom, plans adjusted. First major clash, cavalry outpost hit at dawn. Sentries silent, stores burned. Victorious return, spoils distributed. Elias mended wounded, his hands steady. Nijoni unscathed, led Thanksgiving right. Smoke to skies, tensions peaked. Governors railed, bounties tripled. The ranch fortified, pitfalls dug, signals refined. Summer heat baked, but sweat forged steel. A lover emerged for Nijoni, brave scout named Kale, his eyes soft for her. Elias approved, seeing joy spark. Picnics by creek, laughter rare, but precious. News Geronimo joined fully, numbers 500. Grand Council planned, alliances sealed. Elias rode to meet, bridging white Indian gaps. Return heralded hero, tales embellished. As harvest moon rose, Nijoni stood tall. Kindness arms us best. Army poised, thunder in veins. The circle closed, forgotten no more. Harvest bounty filled larders, cornbread and venison feasts. Under harvest moon, dances swirled, drums calling ancestors. Elias joined steps, clumsy but earnest, drawing laughs. Nijoni beamed, her people embracing him. Whispers of betrayal tested, a spy caught banished honorably. Trust reaffirmed. Autumn cooled, Patrols doubled against winter pushes. Majoni trained youth, bows singing air. Elias crafted arrows, feathers fletched true. A vision warned of betrayal in ranks. Kale uncovered plot, loyalty proven, punishments merciful, exile over death, bonds ironclad, snows early, blizzards confining, stories sustaining. Elias read aloud, worlds unfolding, spring teased with thaws, plans for bold strike fort supply lines severed, warriors eager, Elias's counsel tempering zeal, dawn raid lightning fast, fires lit, retreat clean, jubilation camp wide. Majoni kissed Elias's cheek, your heart guides, army grew mythic, songs sung afar. The cowboy's deed, legend's core, 15 years repaid in glory's fire. Winter's grip tightened, winds howling isolation, but fires burned bright with resolve. Majoni's visions painted victories, hands trembling post-trance. Elias brewed teas to steady her, fatherly care unwavering. Scouts braved drifts, mapping snow-hidden trails. A child born in camp, named Thorn for Elias, symbol of blend. Lullabies mixed tongues, hope's melody. Thaw unleashed floods, bridges rebuilt communal, plans evolved. Guerrilla hits on rails, first sabotage tracks twisted, trains halted, cheers echoed canyons. Elias mended deer his ranch hub of ingenuity. Majoni and Kale wed in right, union blessed under eagle feather. Elias gave away bride, tears hidden, joy tempered by war's drum. Summer sizzled, raids relentless, summer raids grew bolder, supply lines cut, bluecoats baffled. Elias took a bullet in a skirmish, Majoni dragging him to safety. Her hands steady as stone stitched him under firelight. Recovery slow, her song soothed his pain. Bonds deepened, warriors guarding their savior. Autumn brought cooler heads, plans for larger strike. Majoni's visions pinpointed camps, her leadership iron. Elias scarred but strong, advised from saddle, his wisdom saving lives. Winter sealed the land in ice, but Majoni's fire burned. Scouts hit outposts, food caches swelling camp store. Elias taught trapping, blending Apache stealth with rancher tricks. A traitor among allies exposed, Kale's vigilance sparing blood. Majoni's counsel grew, Navajo and Pima joining. Elias's cough worsened, but he carved toys for camp children, their laughter medicine. Spring loomed, battles planned, the army now 600 strong. Spring's bloom hid ambushes, Majoni's arrows felling foes from shadows. Elias led a decoy, drawing cavalry into traps. Victory chants echoed, but losses stung, young warriors fallen. Majoni mourned, her resolve steeling. Elias shared tales of survival, lifting spirits. Summer drought tested, wells dug deeper. Kale scouted far, bringing news of troop splits. Plans shifted, the ranch a fortress. Elias's health held, his heart fierce. Monsoons returned, masking movements. Majoni struck forts, fires lighting night. Elias on crutches from old wound, mapped routes. Warriors revered him, his mercy legend. A peace envoy came, terms rejected, lands non-negotiable. Majoni's pregnancy showed, camp protective. Elias carved a cradle, dreaming peace for babe. Autumn raids, surgical, supplies. The army 700. Sang of the cowboy who sparked it all. Winter's bite eased. Majoni birthed a daughter, named Star for hope. Elias held her, eyes misty, a grandfather's pride. Scouts kept foes at bay, ranch a haven. Kale trained youth, bows deadly. Elias taught reading, uniting tongues. Spring plans grew bold, major fort to fall. Majoni's vision saw victory, her voice rallying. Elias frail but fierce, blessed warriors. The army 800, moved as one, the forgotten girl's fire burning bright. Spring offensive shattered forts, Majoni's tactics flawless. Elias from ridge, sniped threats, saving dozens. Warriors hailed him elder, feathers gifted. Summer brought envoys, terms softer but tricky. Majoni negotiated, Elias advising guile. Treaties stalled, raids resumed. Kale's wound healed, his love for Majoni's steel. Ranch thrived, crops shared, children played, hope alive. The army 900, a legend growing, rooted in one act of grace. Autumn's colors flared, battles pausing for harvest. Majoni taught weaving, patterns telling stories. Elias shared whiskey,
elders nodding respect. A spy caught forgiven, mercy Najoni's love. Winter plans formed, supply lines targeted. Elias's cough deepened, herbs failing. Najoni worried, vision seeking cures. Scouts clashed, victories piling. The army 1,000 stood as one. Elias's tale chanted, the forgotten girl their heart. Winter snows buried trails, but Najoni's fire left. Raids hit camps, food sustaining Kim. Elias bedridden, told stories, voice weak but spirit strong. Kale led patrols, loyalty fierce. A healer came, easing Elias's pain. Spring hinted, plans for grand strike. Najoni's daughter toddled, camp's joy. Elias carved her a horse, hands shaking. The army unified, prepared for clash. The cowboys' kindness their banner. Spring erupted, Najoni's visions guiding strikes. Elias rallying, joined council, wisdom sharp. Forts fell, bluecoats reeling. Kale saved a squad, heroes' names sung. Summer heat forged plans, railroads Elias taught signals, blending ways. Najoni's daughter danced, camp alive. Envoys returned, peace teased but frail. Elias urged patience, Najoni's steel. The army 1,100, moved like wind. The forgotten now feared, monsoons slowed foes. Najoni's ambushes deadly. Elias stronger, rode again, mapping traps. Warriors revered his scars, tales growing. Kale and Najoni's bond deepened, family core. Autumn brought bounty, feasts uniting. A traitor banished, unity restored. Elias taught star songs, her giggles light. Winter plans set, major push on supply hubs.
Spring's fury hit, Najoni's visions guiding. Elias, rallying, mapped choke points. Forts fell, bluecoats routed. Kalas saved kin, heroes sung. Summer heat forged plans, rails cut. Elias taught unity, blending ways. Invoice hinted peace, terms soft. Najoni wary, Elias wise. Ranch thrived, haven for all. Star danced, hope alive. The army 2,300, born from grace. Monsoons massed moves, Najoni strikes deadly. Elias stronger, rode traps set. Warriors hailed scars, tales epic. Colin Najoni's love shone, family core. Autumn bounty united, feasts grand. Traitor exiled, bonds iron. Elias taught star, laughter light. Winter plans set, hub strike. The army 2,400, sang of the cowboy his canteen a nation's spark. Winter's bite eased, Najoni's raids bloodless. Elias coughing, advised maps shaky. Kalas scouted, Elias swelling. Child born, named Faith, dawn's symbol. Spring loomed, clash planned. Elias's tales lifted spirits, rescue retold. Najoni's visions saw victory, voice thunder. The army 2,500, stood as one. The forgotten girls fire a star. Spring erupted, Najoni's command shattering forts. Elias frail, sniped, saving kin. Kalas led flanks, love a shield. Summer brought envoys, terms better. Najoni debated, Elias cunning. Treaty paused, raids sharp. Ranch bloomed, haven for all. Star sang, Elias proud. The army 2,600, a myth alive, born from a cowboy's mercy long ago. The grand clash loomed on canyon rims, bluecoats 5,000 strong, marching to crush resistance. Najoni's scouts melted in shadows, reporting every move. Elias from overlook, sketched defenses, choke points mined with boulders. Warriors painted, chants rising fierce. Kalas led flank, eyes on Najoni proud. Dawn broke bloody, arrows rained, rifles cracked, ponies thundered. Elias fired true from ridge, covering casualties light. Foes routed confused, camp erupted triumph. Wounded tended swift. Najoni clasped Elias. Your eyes saw the gap, legends swelled. Papers east buzzing of ghost army. Peace envoys hinted, but fight endured. The forgotten girls return, tide turning. Skirmishes chained, each victory emboldening. Elias's ranch sanctuary for refugees. Apache, settler kin fleeing crossfire. Najoni mediated disputes, her fairness legend. A child, Thorn's playmate, taught games blending worlds. Elias whittled toys, smiles currency. Summer waned, monsoons masking moves. Major ambush planned, supply caravan trapped in pass. Warriors struck midnight, silent as owls, wagons aflame. Spoils fed hundreds. Elias shared whiskey with elders, toast to endurance. Mizoni's belly swelled. Life amid war. Elias beamed grandpa dream. Scouts warned of reinforcements. Guns big as thunder. Preparations fevered. Forges glowing hot. The army, Elias's legacy stood unbreakable. Monsoon deluge turned trails. Rivers delaying foes blessedly. Mizoni birthed son. Strong cry piercing storm. Named after Elias. Echo of kindness. Camps celebrated subdued. Warriors guarding. Elias held grandson wonder in eyes. Recovery swift. Mizoni back commanding. Autumn leaves fell like spent casings. Plans for winter siege. Elias trained marksman. His patience gold. A defection settler spy turned. Tales of mercy swaying. Numbers held. First snows blizzards. Alive foes bogged. Raids on outposts. Food seized. Elias's cough deepened. But spirit fierce. Mizoni worried. Herbs brewed. Unity hymn against cold. The circle 15 years woven. Held warm. Winter war gnawed. Patrols skis over drifts. Elias worsened. Fever raging like old wounds. Mizoni's visions sought cure. Distant healer summoned. Warriors hunted rare roots. Camp vigil. Elias rallied. Tales spun bedside rescue day retold. You saved me twice. Mizoni whispered. Dawn healer arrived. Poultices drawn. Recovery slow but eyes cleared. Spring bloomed defiant. Plans for decisive push. Elias weak but wise. Counseled from cot. Scouts clashed. Kale wounded grave. Mizoni's rage channeled. Vengeance precise. Foes retreated. Lines cracking. The army sang his name. Cowboy eternal. Thaw waters carried hope. Rivers scoured clean. Elias walked again. Staff carved by grandson's tiny hands. Mizoni led counsel. Envoys from Washington tentative. Terms harsh reservations. Surrender arms. She balked. Elias urging guile. Feign accept. Strike later. Messengers sent. Time bought. Summer heat forged resolve. Training relentless. Major battle brewed at Black Mesa. Troops 10,000. Artillery boom. Warriors massed 1,500. Spirits high. Elias blessed arrows. Voice gravel. Dawn charge ponies avalanche. Arrows black sky. Guns roared but terrain favored. Elias sniped from height. Felling officers. Rout glorious foes fled routed. Camp wild. Fires victory high. Mizoni crowned queen in song. Victory's afterglow faded quick. Pursuits harrying remnants. Mizoni dispatched bands. Mercy in victory. Prisoners fed, released with warnings. Elias mediated. His white face bridge. Papers hailed Apache miracle. Tales of cowboy savior. Envoys returned. Terms softened. Lands promised. Peace conditional. Council debated. Mizoni wary but willing. Elias spoke kindness disarms best. Vote aye. Treaty inked under full moon. Celebrations vast. Dances till dawn. But shadows lingered. Betrayals past taught caution. Ranch expanded. Family settling. Grandson toddled. Pony gifted early. Elias watched, content. 15 years arc bent to peace. Peace fragile as eggshell. Patrols joint now. Apache ranger uneasy. Mizoni oversaw. Her authority unchallenged. Elias advised governor voice respected. Ranch bloomed. Herds fat, gardens lush. Visitors came curious. Scholars noting history. Mizoni wrote memoir. Elias's hand steadying quill. Kale healed. Family grew. Echoes spoke first words. Laughter rippled. Summers gentle. Winters mild. Old foes visited. Pipes shared. Elias's cough returned. But days full. Mizoni vowed protection eternal. The army disbanded slow. Warriors homesteaders now. Legend lived in fireside yarns. Forgotten no more. Kindness crowned. Years layered gentle. Elias gray. Mizoni silver streaked strong. Grandson rode with her. Learning ways dual. Ranch dynasty. Alliances enduring. Treaty held. Lands sacred guarded. Elias taught school. White and red children mingled. Stories unified. Hatreds faded. A great council convened. Nations represented. Mizoni spoke. Elias at side kindness's tale centerpiece. Applause thundered. Peace sealed deeper. Echo grew brave. Maimed chief in making. Elias's health waned. Bedridden but smiling. Mizoni held vigil. As he'd for her. Full circle, he whispered. Desert bloomed eternal witness. Elias's passing quiet. Under stars he'd loved. Camp mourned vast. Rites blended. Christian hymn. Apache chant. Mizoni led eulogy. He found me forgotten. Made me found. Warriors keened. Grandson clutched toy horse. Carved long ago. Burial on ridge of rescue. Stone etched simple. Kind heart. Eternal ride. Mizoni vowed legacy love. Days blurred grief to resolve. She led band prosperous. Schools built. Bridges literal and not. Echo rose leader. Marrying across lines. Tales of Cowboy echoed wide. Books penned. Films dream. The Army's spirit in every hand. Clasped. 15 years timeless echo. Mizoni aged graceful. Hair white as clouds. Eyes sharp as ever. She mentored young. Visions rare but true. Ranch vast now. Visitors honoring sight. Echo's children played. Circle renewing. Peace held. Though winds whispered change. Mizoni rode ridge often. Wind in hair feeling Elias near. A new forgotten found. Settler lad lost. She sheltered. Cycle kind. Grand Council annual. Her word law. Kale past gentle. Reunited spirits. Mizoni smiled at stars. Debt paid full. The girl returned. Army in heart forever. Desert sands shifted. Story etched deep. Echo led now. Mizoni advisor wise. Bands united. Economy thriving cattle. Crafts traded fair. Schools taught history true. No victors lost. Echo's vision nation bridged. Mizoni nodded approval. Pride maternal. Great-grandchildren romped. Laughter legacy. Annual ride to ridge. Honoring Elias feathers left. Prayers sent. Winds carried peace. A threat rose miners greedy but council quelled. Laws enforced. Mizoni's name invoked. Deterrence sure. Evenings she whittled horses. Gifting young. Life's wheel turned benevolent. The forgotten now remembered eternal. Mizoni's twilight serene. Body frail but spirit stallion. Echo cared devoted. Stories nightly. Visions final. Harmony vast. No borders. She smiled. Passing pouch to grands. Passing painless. Surrounded kin. Chants fading soft. Burial beside Elias. Hands linked stone. Mourning nationwide. Flags half-mast. Echo eulogized. She returned with us all. Feast spanned moons. Unity feast. Legacy bloomed. Scholarships. Parks named. Tales filmed. Hearts touched. The Cowboy's kindness. Seed of forest. 15 years. Eternity's gift. Eras shifted. Echo Gray leading Federation strong. Great Grand rode ponies. Learning dual tongues. Ranch museum now. Artifacts telling. Annual gatherings vast. Cultures we. Echo's son Thorn II. Dreamed big university for all. Approved built on old fields. Stories core curriculum. Kindness creed. Winds clean. Lands healed. Echo visited graves. Conversing quiet. You started it to Elias. Peace not perfect, but rooted deep. The Army's echo in every step forward. Forgotten past. Bright future. Thorn II. Innovated. Tech blending old ways. Solar on Tipis. Apps for lore. Federation model. Nation studied. He married cross. Children rainbow. Rides to ridge tradition. Feathers modern mix. Echo past torch. Content. Graves tended. Flowers wild. Tales digital. Viral reach. A girl found lost. Cycles smiles. The story living legend. Cowboy and girl. Eternal duo. Desert whispers approval. Generations flowed. Federation powerhouse. Descendants led. Kindness constitution. Ranch heritage site. Visitors awed. Virtual tours. AR ghosts of past. Annual echo. Drums. Hymns unity. Thorns line multiplied. Names honored. Challenges met. Climate. Greed. But resolve Elias's. The return mythic core. 15 years timeless lesson. Modern dawn drones scout like eagles. But heart same. A descendant. Mizoni II. President visionary. She speaks on. Cowboy tale opener. Applause global. Ranch eco center sustainability taught. Graves pilgrimage. peace symbol. Winds carry laughter kids, but forgotten all found. Army in spirit, guarding kind. Reflections deep, stories power undimmed. One act ripples world. Elias's canteen. Mizoni's army balance perfect. Lessons mercy multiplies. Roots nurture. Desert endures. Witness silent. Generations thank. Cycles holy. The title true. Heart's narrative. In quiet moments ridges call. Feel the ride, hear the chant. Cowboy's hat. Feathers blend. Girl's eyes, warrior's fire. 15 years bridge. Eternal. Kindness conquers always. Story ends. No lives on. Fade to stars, drums soft. Legacy whispers. Help the forgotten armies follow. Hearts united, borders fade. The West tamed by grace. Mizoni smiles from beyond. Elias tips hat. And so the wheel turns. Dust settles, but echo remains. A cowboy helped. A girl returned. World changed. In every act kind. Her army rises. The end, just beginning. Desert dreams eternal.